Namaste. Good morning. This is Dr. Uma Keduvetal, Faculty of Agricultural and Veterinary Sciences, Jayoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. As you know, I'll be taking the course on metabolism and bioenergetics this semester. And in the previous sessions, we were looking into amino acid metabolism, and we had covered until the deamination, the oxidative, hydrolytic, and non-oxidative deamination processes of the amino acids. In this session, we will be looking into the decarboxylation. So this is a very important process in that the decarboxylation method is the process by which various biologically active amines are formed, and we will be covering these bioamines in this session as well. So if we were to look into the decarboxylation of amino acids, so what is decarboxylation? So decarboxylation is a chemical reaction that removes a carboxyl group. So it's very simple. It's as its name implies, just removes the carboxyl group and releases carbon dioxide. And enzymes that catalyze decarboxylations are called decarboxylases. So that is the common name, but then you know that uh, there will be formal names of enzymes. Like this is the normally used colloquial term, but the formal term is actually carboxylases, because lyases are the uh, lysing enzymes. So, and since this falls under the category of lyases, you people would have learned about the classification of enzyme nomenclature, the hydrolases, the lyases, the oxidoreductases, and all. So in this falls under the lyases category. So they are known as the carboxylases because it removes the carboxyl group. Now, the product that is formed is carbon dioxide and biogenic amine, and this enzymatic reaction is catalyzed again by pyridoxal phosphate. Now you know that pyridoxal phosphate is one of the most important enzymes, important coenzymes in terms of amino acid metabolism. It is involved in transamination reactions, in a couple of deamination reactions. It's also important for decarboxylation reactions, and they are this biogenic amines are these biologically active molecules. They are formed by the decarboxylation of amino acids, and also there is they are also formed by another process, the amination and transamination of aldehydes and ketones. But we will be looking into the formation of these biogenic amines through the decarboxylation process. So this decarboxylase actually binds to the substrate in such a way that it aligns the orbitals of the Schiff base. The pyridoxal phosphate acts as the Schiff base, and the carboxylate. This alignment is arranged by the enzyme in such a way that it will determine which bond is to be broken. And so even though it's PLP is the Schiff base for this, so different enzymes can have actually different outcomes, and that is a very important part of the biogenic amine formation in the body. So like if it is transaminase removes the H atom, the decarboxylases remove the carboxylate, serine hydroxymethyl transferase removes the side chain. So over here the decarboxylases remove the carboxylate. So if you were to look into the reaction structure, so it'll be something like this. So this is the decarboxylation reaction, that there is the amino acid which has got an R, the 3 side chains and an H. So H will be here, and there will be an NH2 and a COOH over here. So when the decarboxylase is working, and the PLP is the coenzyme for this, so CO2 will be released, and one H will be added over here, CO2 will be removed, and the amine will be formed. And if this amine is oxidized by amine oxidase, then ammonia will be released, and the corresponding aldehyde will be formed. So like glutaraldehyde or something like that will be formed if we are talking about glutamine. Then that will like glutamic acid will be the amino acid, and then it will form the glutamine, or not glutamine, and since glutamine is also a amino acid, and but the amine will give rise to glutaraldehyde upon the reaction of amine oxidase. So that is the general process for a decarboxylation reaction. Now, if we were to look into the which all are the oxidative decarboxylations of amino acids to amines, then the most important ones, histidine to histamine. Now you know that histamine is a inflammatory signaling molecule, and so we use antihistamines in order to contain the allergic reactions in the body. So histamine, it's one of the most prominent amines in the body, biogenic amines in the body. Then there is tryptophan to tryptamine, phenylalanine to phenylethylamine, and because alanine actually gives rise to ethylamine. So phenylalanine will give rise to phenylethylamine, and tyrosine to tyramine, histidine to histamine. Then serine to ethanolamine is again another important amine formation. Now you know about the brain signaling molecule GABA. So that is formed from glutamic acid, and then cadaverine is formed from lysine. Arginine gives rise to agmatine, ornithine, and that is converted to putrescine. And then in the tyrosine metabolism, in the metabolic fate of amino acids, we had discussed the formation of DOPA and dopamine. So L-DOPA gives rise to dopamine by a decarboxylase reaction. So these are all the major amines, the biogenic amines that are there in the body. And now if we were to look at the importance of these amines, so they are like regulatory molecules and participate in important metabolic and physiological functions in living organisms, and polyamines are actually essential for cell proliferation, growth, renewal, metabolism. Now, like this most common example that you can look into, histamine. Histamine, if histamine is not present, the cellular immune responses, the inflammatory responses will be totally it will go haywire. So like histamine is and then you know about dopamine, that is the absence of or reduced levels of dopamine leads to reduced brain function resulting in Parkinson's. So they are all extremely important signaling molecules. And GABA, if GABA is not there, then the blood-brain barrier, crossing of chemicals through the blood-brain barrier will be severely affected, and that can even lead to coma. So they all these biogenic amines are extremely important. So we will go into the action of each of these amines, because they are so important that we need to look into what they are. So they are these 5 established biogenic amine neurotransmitters. So they are the catecholamines that has dopamine, norepinephrine, and epinephrine. histamine and serotonin are there. And so if we were to look into that, like dopamine is produced by the action of dopa decarboxylase. And then like that is like major signaling molecules. And when the dopaminergic neurons are like degenerating, then it results in Parkinson's. Now, noradrenaline or norepinephrine, that is produced from dopamine by dopamine beta hydroxylase. And then as you know, that is a major stress hormone and a signaling molecule. And then epinephrine is also produced from dopamine only. So they are all tyrosine based decarboxylate metabolites. And then histamine is produced from histidine, by histidine decarboxylase. And then you know that it is found in neurons of hypothalamus. And it's also there are these and it is histamine is actually involved in keeping us active also. So if we are having antihistamines, not the normal cetirizine, because they are not so much capable of crossing the blood-brain barrier, but those antihistamines that are capable of crossing the blood-brain barrier, what happens is they are sedative in nature. Like there are these antihistamine molecules that you will be feeling extremely drowsy. Like when you are having antihistamines, you are supposed to not drive and all, because even with the normal cetirizine molecule, the levocetirizine that is used, there are people who develop drowsiness and inability to concentrate and all, because they have sedative effects. And then the relaxation, the happiness hormone, serotonin. So that is also produced from tryptophan. And serotonin is also like, it has also got its own nerve terminals, like the serotonergic nerve terminals are what is important in them. And like so these biogenic amines have a wide range of behaviors. Like they have homeostatic functions, as in the case of adrenaline. And the cognitive phenomena such as attention and grip and all that, in such as in the case of dopamine and histamine. So and inflammatory responses. So that is one of the major reasons why these biogenic amines and the decarboxylation reactions that are involved in their production are so important. So like in the notes, you have been provided with a table that shows the major classes of biogenic amines, from which amino acid they have been produced, they are being produced, and what their functions are. And that is something that you need to know as a biologist, because they are important molecules, and they have very important bodily functions. And yeah, so that'll be about the decarboxylation reactions and the biogenic amines. In the next session, we will be looking at the common, in general, oxidative degradation of amino acids. And after that, we'll follow it up with nitrogen excretion and the urea cycle. So that'll be it for this session. Thank you. Have a nice day.